2020, Peloton experienced incredible growth, quickly becoming a household name in the connected fitness space. The trouble is, Peloton believed the story around it a little too much, and it didn't entirely recognize the market opportunities around it. So Peloton was founded in 2012 by John Foley, who was a former Barnes & Noble executive. It raised a total of $4 million that year in angel investments in a Series A round. The next year, it raised $300,000 in a Kickstarter campaign to try and bring its project to life. Soon after, Peloton started shipping bikes, and it opened its first studio in New York City, too.
I want to welcome you to Peloton Studios, New York.
It's kind of part of that cohort of boutique spin brands like SoulCycle or Flywheel that were popping up all over the place during that time. But Peloton's whole shtick, of course, isn't people going to a studio to ride. It's the bikes that are at home, with tablets attached where people can stream classes. Peloton sales took off. Its instructors, like Robin Arzon and Cody Rigsby and Ali Love, became stars.
Get off the couch and move your ass, do 10 squats.
They amassed thousands of followers on social media and appeared regularly on talk shows. Rigsby was even on Dancing with the Stars. Peloton has also inspired some copycat connected fitness products. Think of Mirror, which is what it sounds like, a mirror that hangs on your wall, but also is for fitness, or Tonal, which is for weight training. In 2018, Peloton expanded its offering and launched a treadmill to go along with its bike.
Let's row, baby.
Yes.
Let's get it, Peloton.
And nowadays it has a rower too. Peloton was so popular that it grew to have 1.4 million members and was valued at $8 billion when it went public in the fall of 2019. A couple of months later, Peloton made a splash after its holiday ad went viral. It is a husband giving his wife a Peloton bike for Christmas, which seems nice enough, I guess.
First ride, I'm a little nervous, but excited. Let's do this.
Then she spends the entire year making these pain-looking selfie videos of herself on the bike and kind of puts them together into a video for the next Christmas. And there was quite a bit of backlash around that. It's not great to think that a husband is kind of giving his wife something so that she can be thin and fit. And Peloton had to do a little bit of cleanup after that. Peloton's big break came with the pandemic and the onset of COVID-19. Everybody's stuck at home. The gyms are shut down, and a lot of people are sitting around and think, I might as well get a Peloton. Its sales surged by 200% in November 2020 compared to the year before, and it had its first billion-dollar quarter the last 3 months of that year. Obviously, with that big surge in demand, Peloton had to try and react to meet that demand. And a lot of customers were complaining at the time that they were waiting months and months for the bikes. So what Peloton did, naturally, is to invest in its supply chain and in manufacturing in an attempt to catch up and meet that demand. Peloton's stock price exploded during that time too. Its market cap peaked around $50 billion in late 2020. Like Zoom and Clorox, it was a solid stay-at-home bet for Wall Street. The story around Peloton was really exciting, kind of going from 0 to 100 very fast. It's an appealing narrative.
I know, right?
But the problem is sort of that Peloton believed the story a little bit too much. It really bought into the narrative, and it didn't really see that it wasn't really real, and that's kind of how it landed where it is today. Peloton eventually caught up on the supply side. The problem is that by the time it did, the demand wasn't really there anymore. The COVID vaccines had come out, a lot of gyms were opening back up, and people didn't want to work out at home anymore. People were happy to leave their homes. COVID also pulled forward a lot of demand for Peloton's products. That means somebody who maybe would have bought a bike in 2022 or 2023 did so in 2020. There's also just a limited number of people who will ever buy a Peloton at all, especially given how expensive they are. The basic bike now, and it's cheaper than it used to be, is $1,500. Before it was $2,000. The treadmill is $3,000. Again, these are the basic levels, so the fancier ones are even more. This is a really big investment, and as we know with a lot of fitness products, a lot of us have a lot of aspirations about going to the gym and getting fit, and we fail at those, and then we wind up with expensive stuff that we don't want anymore. And even if you really are a huge Peloton fan, you're not gonna buy 6 bikes, right? You're gonna have one bike, maybe you'll get a treadmill, but you're not buying a bunch of equipment.